Okay, I have a conspiracy theory about Kang, folks. I have a theory. I have something to posit regarding our good friend Kang. Kang,
Mm-hmm.
are you Cinderella?
Why the fuck would I be? Why would I be Why would I be Cinderella?
So
Why?
something I've noticed about you, Kang, and I've decided to call you out on air today because I thought it would be a funny cold open, even though I don't do cold opens on this show. I don't know what possessed me. But what I've noticed about you, Kang, is you come around, you come on our shows all the time, but it seems like you almost never stick around afterward. Like it seems like the show ends and you're like, all right, dog, I'm gonna go lurk elsewhere. I must
Mm-hmm.
go. My planet needs me. Do you have some sort of glass slippers that you have to take off before midnight, or else you're gonna turn to a pumpkin, or whatever the fuck the plot of Cinderella was?
I'm pretty sure that no that the plot of Cinderella would be like some fucking bitch has to like find like the perfect slipper that fits, but I would say more or less, the whole like Superman, Clark Kent, Krypton bullshit.
In what regard? Are you saying that Cinderella is the Superman to your Clark Kent?
No, no, what?
We look at you and we're like, there's no way he could be Cinderella. But in reality, all you have to do is take the glasses off and we can see it.
Yeah, basically that's the point of the fucking Clark Kent. Clark Kent isn't really Clark Kent. He is fucking Superman.
It is so it is so funny to me that they've just decided, because like in a comic that was written in like the 50s or whenever the fuck Superman started, it was actually like 30s, wasn't it? It was a long ass time ago. Things were like cartoony and silly enough at that point that you could be like, yeah, when he puts on the glasses, nobody recognizes him. It's like, okay, now we're in the year 2023. You really telling me people don't look at Clark Kent and go, that motherfucker's Superman? Like,
kind
come on.
kind of like in the same way people don't look at like fucking billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne as just like motherfucker. That is Batman.
Well, well, it is kind of obvious that Bruce Wayne is Batman, but not as obvious as Clark Kent being Superman, because it's literally just Superman is a guy. Superman doesn't wear a mask. Batman at least wears a cowl that obscures his face. Superman does not do that. It's literally just he puts glasses on. It's the
Yeah,
opposite of it's the opposite of the fucking Perry the Platypus bit.
yeah, but you're telling me you
A
can't look at.
platypus?
You're telling me you
A
can't fucking.
man? Superman?
Hold on though. You can't tell me you can't look at the fucking jawline of fucking Bruce Wayne and distinguish it like in his cowl, just like holy shit, that's Batman.
You could, but that I'm just saying that's less obvious. You would actually have to analyze to reach that conclusion. Whereas if you looked at Superman, if you take a picture of Superman and you Photoshop glasses onto him, do you not recognize him anymore?
Well, yeah, that's the whole fucking joke, though.
Well, yes, and again, that was a fun little cartoony joke in the 50s, but now in like Superman media where they're trying to be serious and like tell a real story with very human, deep characters, you tell me you motherfuckers don't recognize that guy?
Plus, you also got to think. You also got to think of it this way, though. So, if you're Bruce Wayne, you're Batman. You got the fucking cowl going. No one's gonna be able to tell the difference between the fucking guy behind the cowl because you're getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah. See, so Superman never has to worry about the battle wounds, or at least usually not. He tends to avoid those.
Yeah, how the fuck is he gonna avoid kryptonite though?
Yeah, that's hard. You just have to give up your powers, I guess, if you're Smallville Superman, according to the Arrowverse.
Why would you want to be Smallville Superman though?
I don't know. I think it was. I'd have to assume it was Smallville. I guess I never looked that up to confirm it, but I assumed it seemed like it was Smallville Superman. I've never watched Smallville, but there's a scene in one of the Arrowverse crossovers where Lex Luthor arrives in an alternate universe, and he tries to use kryptonite to kill their Superman, and it does not work on him. And Lex Luthor's like, "What the hell?" And he's like, That has no effect on me since I gave up my powers. And the rest of the scene is obviously like Lex Luthor's like, why would you give up your powers? You were a god. And then or I guess Clark pulls out the classic, the classic adage of family, the classic Vin Diesel adage of family. It's more important than Superman, I guess.
So what you're telling me is now Superman is Vin Diesel?
Yes. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that's never happened.
You know what? If we no. Here's the thing, but I think Vin Diesel would make a more better Lex Luthor than he would a Batman, though.
What? He's bald? You fucking racist? You fucking haircist?
I'm a fucking what? No, fuck you! No. You also got to think. Fucking Vin Diesel is like the perfect height. Sure, he doesn't have the perfect body mass, but come on! You're telling me he can't be a dead ringer for Lex? You're telling
Well, he
me
wouldn't be the perfect Lex Luthor because we already know who that is. And the CW fucked up by recasting him.
All right, who did they cast as Lex?
Well, originally, when Supergirl was running and Lex Luthor was in that, he was played by one John Cryer, who blew the role out of the fucking water. He was great. He was an amazing Lex Luthor. But then when they did the fucking Superman and Lois show, they were like, John Cryer, we need something more serious. So we're gonna recast Lex Luthor. And
Dude,
I don't even know who they cast, but I know it's nowhere near as good as John Cryer. John Cryer fucking chewed that role and spit it out, bro. He was fucking on it.
Best known for such roles as Alan
Harper. Yeah, as 2.5 Men. He was in some movie that people like. I don't remember what the movie's called. I know the character he played was named Ducky. I do not remember what the movie was called. I've never watched it. I just know
it
that
sounds
John
familiar,
Cryer
but
was
I
in
can't
it.
think of the name
It
of
has
it.
a character named Ducky.
God, the only Ducky I can think of is the guy from NCIS.
The only Ducky I can think of besides John Cryer is the dinosaur from Land Before Time that was played by a little girl who was murdered by her father before the movie came out.
Oh, no. Oh, that's. Oh.
It's a little bit rough.
Yeah, you think?
That's one of those, like, every fucking, like, creepy story thing will tell you about that. Have you heard about this story? Do you know? Are you those who know, or are you those who don't know? Are you the regular looking Mr. Incredible, or are you the receded black and white Mr. Incredible?
Oh, the uncanny valley. I see.
Yeah.
What if I said I was most likely into the uncanny valley because of Wendigoon?
I keep hearing about this Wendigoon guy. I've never heard him speak in my life.
You need, dude.
I've seen him on Twitter. I know he's been on podcasts that I like. I like PKA. He's been on there, but I've never listened to him.
Have you ever listened to the official podcast with Charlie, Jackson, Andrew, and Kaya?
I have not.
Good podcast. But anyway, you should give him a listen. He's actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I might have to. I've heard he's a pretty interesting fella, an enjoyable entertainer.
Indeed, he is.
Well, folks, I think that's enough beating around the bush. I hope you like that cool new cold open thing I decided to try to do. Welcome to Issue Crew Movie Reviews, folks, back by popular demand. By that I mean no demand whatsoever.
We're just doing this shit for fun, you know?
I'm just doing this shit for fun. I gave up on this show for way longer than I should have because I got really depressed that I lost an episode. That's what happened. I've talked about it on another show, I think, but I lost an episode of the show, and it made me really sad, and I just stopped doing it for a long time.
But we're back.
Rest in peace, the Hurricaneger 20 years later review that me and Crow recorded that never came out because I let the Craig link expire like an idiot.
Oh, you fucker.
Yeah, it was literally just that there was this sweet, I say sweet spot, it's the opposite of a sweet spot, a sour spot, you could say, of time where I just had like no motivation to edit podcasts. And during that window, Crow Royalty and I recorded, I think, maybe 3 shows. If not, it was at least 2, but I think there might have been a third that I just like forgot about, and just the Craig links expired. One of which was for their podcast. So they were kind of pissed at me, but it happens.
Hey, look at it this way: shit happens. We get back. We take a break and we get back on the grind.
That's right. So now I'm back. Last time the people heard this show, it was me and Crow Royalty talking about Juno, which had to have been at least 4 months ago. There's no way it's been less than that. Unless I'm just completely stupid, which is very possible. But folks, we're back, and today we've got a film to review.
Yes, we do.
It's Death Wish from 1970. What's the one? It's one of 9 options. 1970 what?
1972, I believe.
1972. That's right, folks. I hope it is 1972 and we don't sound like idiots right now, because it's in the title. It's in the title in parentheses. So if we just said it wrong,
1974. We were off by 2 years.
We've been fucking hoodwinked. It happened, folks. We're talking about Death Wish, which is a movie that Kang picked. I was pretty thrown off because everybody I hang out with has the most generic the most generic movie taste. Not everybody I hang out with. I don't want to say that, because then half of my friends are gonna be like, "How fucking dare you say that to me?" But
how fucking dare you shut your whore mouth?
Most of the people I hang out with have pretty understandable movie taste. Like, I know what to expect. It's gonna be like either a superhero movie or like a comedy, maybe like a drama. But the movie you were like, what about Death Wish? And I was with this guy, and I was like, okay. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, this movie's from the 70s, and it's about a guy whose wife is murdered. Okay, sure.
Wife is murdered, not? Daughter gets raped, goes on an amazing revenge spree.
There was some very graphic rape going on in this movie. It was really, I was not ready.
Dude, it is honestly a great fucking movie, man.
I mean, sure. Okay, first of all, we have a format here. I know you don't know what it is. I'm not blaming you. I did not explain this to you beforehand. First of all, we do this show under the assumption that everybody has either seen the movie or does not care. So just briefly, for the people who do not care, Kang, would you like to give just a very brief, very general 1-paragraph plot summary of the movie?
I could probably sum it up in like about a few words.
Well, that's not enough. I need a little bit more than a few words. Just go ahead. I trust you, Kang.
All right, let's put it this way: a man, basically, building in like a fucking prospect by trade. Daughter gets raped. Wife gets murdered. He goes on a revenge spree. There you go.
Is it really? I guess like. Okay. I guess I get it. I understand why it's revenge, but it seems like kind of weird, misguided revenge. Because he never comes into contact with the people who actually raped and killed his family. He just runs around and kills some other criminals with his gun that he got.
I think it's like the whole idea, like
a very aggressively conservative Southern man who was literally wearing a fucking cowboy hat gives him a gun, and he runs around and kills criminals with it.
Well, I mean, you also got to think the idea that it's kind of like the idea of vigilante justice.
I'm about to live up to one of my famous memes, by the way. But I will justify it. Anytime I say this, it's justified. Okay, let me rephrase. Let me not discredit any other time I've said this, because it's a stereotype to assume that I say this all the time, which I do say it often. But I do say it often, but usually with good reason. Usually there's something behind it. This movie, in some ways, reminds me of a little anime I like to call Death Note.
Oh, Riely! Oh, brother! Riely.
It's just like Death Note.
Riely.
Yes?
Why?
It's literally fucking Death Note!
What parts of it are Death Note? Riely.
A guy fucking takes it upon himself to rid the streets of the criminal scum, and there's a strange moral quandary within the police force because the rate of crime has gone down due to the actions of this person.
Yeah, but the guy on Death Note's killing people with a goddamn book. You gotta think of it this way. You got Charles fucking Bronson, the man wielding a revolver more than he could, like, anyone could ever imagine. You're telling me that, of all things, it's like Death Note.
It's not just about the fucking magical notebook, Kang. It's deeper than that. It's the themes. It's not just, oh, I could compare something to Death Note without it literally being Death Note. Like the main comparison, and the comparison that I've seen other people make, so I'm not just an insane autistic person for feeling this way. But like when people compare Death Note with Breaking Bad, they're not saying that Walter White is killing people with a Death Note. What they are saying is that Light Yagami and Walter White go through similar character arcs in that they find themselves with a lot more power than they're used to having, and it corrupts them slowly until they're completely inconsolable and they become supervillains. And they die at the end. And the moral of the story is that you're only human, you idiot. You're not as powerful as you think you are. Get fucked.
Yeah, but Charles Bronson, like, they don't.
That
kill
doesn't
him.
happen. No. That comparison does not hold true with this movie, because that is not the ultimate lesson. So in that way, it is not like Death Note. But what is like Death Note, in this case, what I am comparing is the nature of the actions and how the police force respond to it. Where it's like it's literally that same exact premise where you have Charles Bronson. That's the name of the actor. Do you know the name? Was it Paul?
Paul Kersey.
Paul Kersey. So you have Paul, who's running around and shooting everybody. And then, do you know the name of the detective?
Hang on, I'm trying to. I think I might know.
You do some tactical Googling. I think I might know the name as you type it into Google. Hold on, I'm really thinking about it here. Let me really peruse my brain.
I think his name is Frank, I believe. Frank Ochoa.
Okay. Yes, okay, I remember Ochoa. So you got that, and then you got the police force who's dealing with Frank, and Frank wants to catch not Kira, the vigilante. And the police are like, yeah, but like, these crime rates are down though. Like it's a whole that is similar to me. Paul and Frank are like Light and L.
Yeah, I would say more or less like Paul and Frank are honestly more or less what's a good comparison to think of? A good hero chasing the villain kind of trying to be the hero. I'd probably say like Megamind.
I've never seen that movie.
The fucking big the big blue motherfucker.
I know who it is. Like, I know who you're talking about. I know of it. I've never seen it though.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but
I know there's a sequel coming out.
Yeah, but it isn't going to have Will Ferrell though.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I would say it's kind of like cat and mouse, basically, to put it that way. Like, he's the Tom to his Jerry.
Yes. Or the... Wait, I don't know which way that goes. I never understood. Tom and Jerry can go either way, it feels like to me, sometimes.
That's how I feel with...
That little mouse is a fucking asshole sometimes, bro.
That's how I feel with the fucking Bronson and fucking all that shit.
So I guess to address the obvious moral discussion around this movie? Do you how if at all? I'm phrasing this question stupidly. Do you think that Paul is at all justified? Why or why not? That is the normal way to phrase the question.
100% justified, dude.
Okay, tell me why.
You gotta think of it this way. What's his motive?
Revenge for something that other people did upon people who aren't them.
Plus, you also got to think with how much crime is in that city, how many people have been getting mugged, robbed on a goddamn daily basis. Someone's got to step up, carry the gun, and take fucking vengeance. Plus, you also got to think of it this way: you're living in a place in America like New York. Cops aren't gonna do fucking jack diddly shit. So, in other words, you got to think of it this way: kind of like the old days of street outlaws. You gotta, when justice doesn't come to you, you have to bring justice to the town.
I am the knife.
You dare quote Batman in front of me, motherfucker? You dare?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. You're the foremost Batman academic in the room.
Honestly, this is gonna be a surprising fact about me. I kind of didn't care about the Batman movies.
This is gonna be not surprising to anybody who's ever heard me talk about Batman. But I am not into Batman at all, and I have seen shockingly little Batman material.
Of course, don't get me wrong. Like the movies with Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, fucking Val Kilmer. You know,
I have only ever seen one Batman movie, and it was the 1989 Tim Burton Batman film, starring Michael Keaton as Batman and Jack Nicholson as Joker. And I have a different name for that movie. I don't just call it, because obviously if you just call it Batman, then nobody's gonna know what you're talking about. If you call it Batman 1989, that's like you're just being like everybody else. Like you're just you gotta be unique. I like to refer to the movie as Joker 1989, because the whole movie for me was Jack Nicholson as Joker. Like I don't even think Michael Keaton as Batman did anything particularly compelling in that film. It was literally just the rest. I didn't care about anything else in the movie except Jack Nicholson as Joker fucking killing it. He ran circles around everyone else on that movie. Holy shit. Jack Nicholson as Joker is a fucking masterwork.
It's like, if I'm going to be honest, each Batman movie, each Batman TV series, they each had a good Joker for the time.
No, I can't really think of, at least I've seen clips of some other Jokers, and I don't think any of them have been particularly bad. But, man, you know?
The TV Joker, or the Joker they had for the TV Batman, he was good. Jack Nicholson was good.
Wait, you mean Mark Hamill is the TV Joker you're referring to?
No, I'm talking like old TV Batman.
Oh, did he have a Joker?
Yeah, he did. Hang on,
okay.
Let me do another.
I've never seen Adam West Batman's Joker before.
Let me do a tactical Google here. He went by the Cesar Romero.
Oh, I've heard that name before.
I think it's Cesar Romero, if I'm correct. I think. Hang on, bear with me here. Yeah, Cesar Romero. Yeah, he was a good Joker. Okay, Heath Ledger was a good Joker. Too bad he didn't live to see his movie, which he was fucking amazing in.
I only know the name Cesar Romero because, or maybe it's not even Cesar Romero. Maybe it's just a name that sounds similar. That only caught my ear familiarly because there is a Twitter mutual of mine who does Twitter Spaces occasionally, who is a Power Rangers fan. And one of his favorite jokes that he says about the Power Rangers franchise is how he refers to Furious, the villain from Operation Overdrive, the ice guy, as Freezer Romero.
Freezer Romero.
Due to his similarities to, I'm assuming, Cesar Romero.
Oh my god, Freezer Romero. That's funny. Surprisingly, I need to get back into watching Operation Overdrive.
Operation Overdrive. Here's what big government doesn't want you to know about Operation Overdrive. It's good actually, and everyone is wrong.
Well, then again, here's the thing. Here's the dream crossover we need for Power Rangers that should happen. Power Rangers Turbo, Power Rangers RPM, and Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. That would be a good crossover.
Crow Royalty would disagree with you on that.
Yeah, but Crow Royalty just
or did he? No. Never mind. I'm wrong. I was remembering a different argument about similar. Because I remembered we were talking about sometimes me and Crow Royalty will just go like full Power Rangers autism and just like discuss hypothetical crossovers and like get really in depth about it. There was one night we were talking about like I don't remember if it was 3-way or 4-way crossovers and like splitting the characters into teams and like talking about like what the dynamic would be. And there was one point where I pitched a crossover that I believe that was very similar to that, except now that I'm thinking about, I think it was 3 ways, and I didn't say RPM, and I said instead of RPM, I said Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah,
which is a vehicle season.
It is, but you also got to think it's more or less like racing, though.
Yeah, I guess. But Operation Overdrive isn't racing either.
Yeah, but Cargo Burr.
Fuck you.
That's your only defense. Is literally when I say Cargo Burr. Your only defense is fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like you were so offended, just like. This is a public outrage.
It's an outrage. This is awful what you're doing to me. I'm being sandbagged is what's happening.
Now here's my question. Did any of the cars fly in Turbo in RPM in Operation Overdrive?
They were flying Zords in Operation Overdrive.
Mm-hmm. God damn it.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, but Cargo Burr.
Car also go burr in Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah, but you also gotta think, what's a fucking fire truck gonna do when a fucking... God damn it, you're actually right.
Yeah! Fuck you. I'm right. And you and Crow Royalty are both wrong. Suck my dick.
Yeah, but you also gotta think the aesthetics would, like, clash with each other.
I don't think so.
Lightspeed Rescue's more about emergency services, while the fucking Operation Overdrive, RPM, and fucking Turbo have everything to do with goddamn cars? You're telling me that wouldn't clash?
RPM is pretty special forces-y. They're like the final army defending against the apocalypse or whatever the fuck. It's not just about Zoom Zoom Fast Car.
Yeah, but that's the main fucking plot of the show is fucking Zoom Zoom Fast Car.
No, it's not. The plot of Engine Sentai Goanger is Zoom Zoom Fast Car, and they took that and they were like, "What if Apocalypse though?" And that's
okay, so it's more Mad Max Zoom Zoom Fast Car.
Yes, exactly.
Which is still Zoom Zoom Fast Car. So suck a dick, bitch. I win.
Yeah, I guess you win.
But back to the task at hand.
Back to fucking Death Wish, starring Charles Bronson, 1974 film.
So, what did you think of it?
Well, first of all, to answer the question I posed myself, I think I'm less overtly and unconditionally in support of what Paul was doing than you are. Although I guess there's an argument to be made, right? Because he never struck first. I don't think.
Yeah. He never struck first. It's kind of like Rambo.
He provoked people, but he never. And by provoked, I just mean like addressed. I don't mean he fucked with them until they tried to kill him. I just mean he was like, "Hey," and they were obviously criminals. They're like, give me your fucking money, bitch. And he's like, well, I'll give you a bullet in your chest. How about that?
What do you say? You like bullets instead, shit heel? You're going to die. Plus, you also got to think it's kind of like the Rambo scenario. It's like Rambo never drew first blood. So you want to know what he did when someone drew first blood? Well, he fucking killed him.
That's the Dick Masterson philosophy. It's don't hit first, hit second, and never stop hitting.
Yeah, that's because Dick Masterson's right.
He's a smart man.
You wait till the first punch is thrown, and then you fucking hit him, and you keep going. And what do you do after that? You keep fucking going.
That's right. But in terms of movie quality, I'd say I was fairly. I think this movie was very good. I was engaged throughout. I kind of part of me was like, this is gonna be boring, and I only thought that because it was a movie from 1974. Because I'm a Zoomer, but it ended up being really good, and
Dude,
I was thoroughly invested in Paul and his life and what he's doing out there and the plight of the New York people, and the unfortunate, horrific reality of the raped daughter, whose name I don't remember.
I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to movies for me, like from back in the day, the 70s, 80s, all that shit. Sure, the computer effects weren't as good as like we have now, which honestly, fucking computer effects in movies are taking a huge step back in like these coming years. But
The
it's
Flash does look like a PS2 game.
mm-hmm.
I liked that movie. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But yes, the visual effects were straight out of a PlayStation 2 cutscene.
I still won't watch it because of Ezra Miller. I'm sorry.
I'm the most art from artist person you will ever meet. I don't give a shit what you've done. I will watch your shit anyway. I don't give a single fuck in the world. And it came out and everybody was then I started hearing people be like, "This is good actually?" And I was like, "No way." And I watched it and I was like, "Hey, this is good actually."
But it's like sure they didn't have as like good like as good a budget as they did now. You also got to think practical effects is what they really excelled at. And
That's true.
Death Wish, I think it was a great movie to have with practical
There was one
effects.
blood effect though. Most of the movie most of the movie everything was fine and visually they were representing it just fine. Most of it you don't see a lot of the blood. And it's just kind of like you see the red on the shirt and that kind of gets the effect across. And there was one shot where like somebody gets shot right in the center frame and you see like the bullet hole and blood coming out of the bullet hole and that shit is just ketchup.
Yeah, well,
There's just ketchup coming out of this man.
you got to think they didn't have like the fucking I'm sure they probably might have known how to do it. The whole like
You at
cornstarch
least
and
gotta like
fucking.
water down the ketchup, like to a point where it's not just ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least make it like mix some water in there, make it more of a liquid than like a squish like it is currently. Because it was just ketchup, man. Just ketchup. He got a little ketchup on his shirt.
It's just ketchup. Gotta
Yeah,
love ketchup.
the effects. I guess in most things, it's like most of the classic movies I feel like from back then are not very. All the action movies people like are from like the 80s to now, whereas I feel like the older movies, probably the dramas and stuff, are more highly regarded. In which case, it doesn't really matter what the time period was. Like because the visual effects, if you're trying to do like a big action thing, they do suffer. Like I tried to watch one of the really old Sentais recently, and
Ooh,
who man. There's a lot of stuff that's like, oh, that's just sparklers. What's happening there?
dude, I'm not gonna lie. Given the fact that like how old the Sentais are, dude, I'm honestly willing to admit they have a cheesy charm to them, and I love it.
No, I think Sentai very quickly becomes like an amazingly choreographed show. Like, definitely by the time we were getting Power Rangers made out of it, it was masterful. Like Jew Ranger is amazingly choreographed.
Mm-hmm.
And that continues for the rest of the show pretty much. But like way back, the one I was watching was Flashman, which I believe came out in like, was it, no, it was like 85
Ooh.
or something, and it was like, whoo, man, it's a lot of like sparklers and little whatever like little fucking colored smoke bombs. Like it's stuff that it's like, okay, I know what is causing this. You usually, if a practical effect is good enough in a movie, you would have to like watch a behind the scenes thing to know how that happened. I'm just like, oh, that's sparklers. Oh, that's a smoke bomb. That's like, I know what caused the things that are happening on the screen right now.
Oh, dude, hold on. You want cheesy? You ever watch like the really old like Ultramans?
I've never seen a lick of Ultraman material in my life.
Dude, fucking Ultraman is basically just like a guy in a fucking like one piece like suit thing or whatever the fuck it's called. It is great.
Yeah, I know I've seen Ultraman the Man, but but I've never watched the show.
Great show. Anyway, what's up, Gingy?
Genji,
A wild raging Gingy has appeared.
You
he's
better have
fun.
saved your fucking master balls.
Haha.
I was just listening in, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're good, man.
Yeah, Kang.
Hey, I'm just welcoming the new guy. All right.
You're just being nice. You're just saying hello.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of what else to talk about. You got any pitches here, Kang? You're the
Besides
expert
the
on this
fact that you
movie.
have to take a shot because you said but
Gingy, get the fuck out of my podcast call. I'm kicking you out.
That's mean.
Get the fuck out of here.
Anyways,
Motherfucker.
Gingy, have you ever watched Death Wish with Charles Bronson?
I have not.
Don't
First
bring him
time I'm
into
hearing
this.
of it.
Don't start floundering. You're like, oh, Gingy, do you have anything? Come on, Kang. You're the expert. What else is interesting about this movie that we can discuss?
Well, I mean, the fact that Charles Bronson gets grazed by a bullet, everyone thinks, oh, he's gonna fucking die. Then somehow, oh shit, he winds up
Oh shit,
surviving.
motherfucker!
He winds up surviving, getting the fuck out of Dodge. I think from New York. I think where it was, and
Yeah.
into Chicago. Now, can
But
you imagine?
But he left that cotton ball in the trash.
Can you imagine Charles Bronson's death wish being done in today's Chicago? One man versus many gun-wielding Chicagans. How do you think that's going to go?
Chicagans.
How do you think that's going
Is
to go for
Chicago
him?
known for its intense crime rates? I don't really know much about Chicago.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just say, as of recording this episode on February 8th, 2024, let's just do weekend shootings. Right now, from let me think of right here, 9 killed, 42 wounded in weekend shootings across Chicago. Here's one report: Chicago violence, 100 shot, 18 fatally.
Okay, you're proving you're proving your point. You're proving your point.
I am gonna just say it. Chicago is a shithole.
Chicago needs a Paul Kersey.
Oh, they fucking need a Paul
or a Light
Kersey, dude.
Yagami, one of the two.
So,
or Batman, I suppose, would also work.
What else do you think you could talk about with this movie, Riely?
To damn you, you bitch! You've turned it back on me.
Well, I mean, we're trying to milk the content train. I mean,
we have the wrap up questions, but we're kind of not that far in, and I feel like we more than Excuse me. More than half of the airtime has been not about the movie.
Dude, honestly, I feel like here's the thing. Why don't we do like a detour ahead edition of the movie show?
We're never gonna get quite where we're going, which is the movie that we're reviewing. We're not gonna get there. Sorry. I know it's called Issue Crew Movie Reviews, but today we're just talking about fucking how cool, how it's stupid that nobody recognizes Superman. That's what we're talking about on today's installment.
Yeah, because we had to get in the whole ordeal about fucking Superman. But what else that I could say about Charles Bronson? I mean, guy was a fucking legend. He somehow made 4 more Death Wish movies after Death Wish 1.
What?
Yeah, fucking Death Wish is like a 5-movie series.
What? Oh my god, no way. I
Here,
don't believe you.
Here, I'll look it up for you. And I think it's also based off a book, I think, too.
That I saw.
So, looking it up here from my little tactical... We got Death Wish, the first one I watched and you watched. Death Wish 2. Death Wish 3. May I remind you, these were all directed by Michael Winner. Great fucking director, man. Fucking great. Death Wish 4, The Crackdown, directed by J. Lee Thompson. And Death Wish 5, The Face of Death, directed by Alan Goldstein.
What the fuck? Why is this 5 movies? Are they good, or is it one of these things where it's like it's a 5-movie series and only the first one is worth anything and the rest of them are dog shit?
They're probably good. I mean, you also gotta think. Back then, fucking, Charles Bronson was like the fucking symbol of Sigma male energy.
What has he even done outside of Death Wish? I've never seen this man.
Let's see here. Everything Charles Bronson has done outside of Death Wish. He has done Family of Cops, Breach of Faith, Death Wish, of course, we all know Death Wish, Act of Vengeance, Murphy's Law, Messenger of Death, Kinjite, Forbidden Subjects, The Indian Runner, Cabo Blanco, Love and Bullets, The White Buffalo, Telephone, Radon, not even going to attempt the last part of that, St. Ives, From Noon Till 3, Blackheart Pass, Hard Times, Once Upon a Time in the West, The Dirty Dozen, great fucking movie, by the way, The Virginian, Villa Rides, Farewell Friend, The FBI, Property is Condemned, The Fugitive, Battle of the Bulge, Rawhide, The Big Valley, The Sandpiper, Combat, Bonanza, Guns of Diablo. He's done a lot of shit.
Well, there you go. I guess he's a storied actor.
He has a career with his very first role being in 1949.
Does the daughter come back for the sequel? That's one of the weird like loose ends I feel like from this movie.
I think we'll have to watch it and find out.
I guess there was kind of resolution because she's just like around for a while. Nobody knows what to do with her. And then they send her to the psych ward or whatever. But like, I wonder if she ever comes out of her funk.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't you think that fucking getting spray painted in the ass and
she's gonna become her father's successor?
That would be interesting to see, but you also got to think.
You really all the criminals.
Yeah, you really think she's going to be mentally all right after having her ass nearly shagged and spray painted?
She did get her ass spray painted.
Yeah, but I also
shoved his dick in her mouth.
I think I think they did it
Obviously,
off
you don't see
screen.
it. They did it
I
off
mean,
screen. They did it off screen, but like it was in such a manner where you knew it was happening.
like, wow, this poor guy's daughter is getting fucked in the mouth and up the ass. I mean,
Yeah, it was
that's
kind of.
I mean, like,
the
it's been a while since I've seen the first Death Wish, and then like I rewatched it and realized, wow, that's actually
this might be
actually.
the only time that seeing tits in a movie did not inspire some sort of joy in me.
I mean, seeing ass in a movie now that's a different story.
The tits and the ass did not were not able to bring me enjoyment due to the fact that it was in the context of a woman being horrifically raped. But you
Yeah, it
know
was.
that happens sometimes. Sometimes it'd be like that. You know,
Yup.
kind of intense for these. It feels like such a jarring fucking shift because you see these three assholes in the fucking grocery store. And they just seem like the most like random ass, like they just seem like regular ass fucking delinquents. Like they're just like knocking shit off the shelves, fucking giggling to each other. Like they're
Yeah.
fucking teenagers running around doing goofy shit. And then suddenly they expertly stalk two women as they go home, successfully trick them into letting them into their house, and then murder and rape them. There's a little
Yeah,
jarring.
murdering one and raping the other. Yeah,
Nothing about these characters gave me the impression they were capable of brutal rape and murder until they committed brutal rape and murder.
It's like I didn't get that impression, and then all of a sudden, wow, that I wonder what they're gonna do to that. Oh, yay! I see.
I thought like they were gonna threaten them with guns and rob them. That made sense. That seemed like something they would do, and that's what they started to do. That's what it seemed like they were gonna do. But then they only had $7, so they beat the shit out of the old lady and raped the young lady. Because the $7 ain't cutting it in this economy. Can't even get a Big Mac for that much.
$7 ain't cutting it, motherfucker. God, imagine trying to buy a fucking pack of Marlboro Reds for $7. Yeah, that.
Can we
ain't
talk
gonna...
about how much of a gigantic asshole the Doctor is in this movie?
Right?
Where he walks out. So first of all, he walks out. The only one he walks up to Paul and not the stepson, the son-in-law rather, who's married to the daughter who gets raped. And so that's the only one that the Doctor knows. But the fact that he walks up to him and he's like, "Hey, your wife's fine. Good news. Your wife, she's recovering great." Even
what about my wife?
Yeah, but Paul says, "What about my wife?" But the thing is, even if Paul wasn't there and didn't ask about his wife, that's still his mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Why would you not have led with that for him? Like,
Yeah.
hey, your wife's doing fine, but like, hey, your mom-in-law, buddy, got some
Yeah,
news.
that bitch is dead.
Instead, Paul had to be there and be like, "What about my wife?" And the Doctor's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, sorry, there was about fuck all we could do for her.
Uh-oh. Let's wrap it up. Let's get to the wrap-up questions, folks. Da-da-da-da.
All right,
Greg and Geark are fucking up again. We won't rush through it, though. I have a backup if we really had to use it. It's going to sound like shit, but it'll be fine.
I mean, hey, the backup's the backup. But anyway,
backup. But I'll just have to see how much of the audio is lost on both of these versions. But
anyway, you imagine all of a sudden, it's totally not like we're gonna set up like for this perfect revenge spree on like not even the other criminals, but in crime itself. Allow me to quote the famous words of Mr. Count Dankula. In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Hey, there you go. The Kang.
What's up?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like though Death Wish could have like used a little more like better foreshadowing, kinda.
I feel like you should have found the guys. Does he ever find the guys?
I
In the
wonder...
5 movie in the syncology, Does he ever?
I mean, like, I want to say yes,
I
but
have to imagine if you do 5 fucking movies in this series where the inciting action is 3 men rape and kill some women. If those 3 men never appear again in a 5 movie long revenge tour, then that seems ridiculous. There's no way. I'd be
Yeah.
surprised. I'd be surprised if it didn't happen in Death Wish 2. To be honest.
I mean, I'm surprised it didn't go with like a fucking like another like a fucking cheesy name for Death Wish 2, because it's like you also got to think back in like the 70s, the 80s, all that shit. Each action movie just like had like cheesy like fucking names, and I loved it.
Like
Death
what?
Wish 2, a higher Death Wish, even more Death Wishier than Death Wish 1.
Get Death Wishier than ever before.
Charles Bronson is Paul Kersey again in Death Wish 2.
Butter.
A Walk Among the Tombstones. Rated R.
Anyway. So, we got wrap-up questions around here, Kang. We got 3 questions that we're each going to go through about this movie. They're very gun to your head questions, maybe difficult, but you gotta do it. The gun is to your head. You gotta pick. First of all, favorite character in the film. Kang, go.
Paul Kersey, easily.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where it's like the whole movie kind of like persists around Paul Kersey, like
Enjoying the main character.
Yeah, for sure. Like a very main character centric piece where the rest of the not that the rest of the characters aren't anything, but they're much less of something than Paul Kersey is. But I guess besides like Ochoa might be close. But yeah. The Paul Kersey easy. He Charles Bronson is a good actor, it seems. I'm a fan. I'm a big Charles Bronson fan. Is he still alive?
No, he died actually a while ago.
How long ago?
Let me do another tactical Google run.
Yep. Let me just think about that for a minute.
He died in 2003.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he looks pretty old in this movie from the 70s, so I guess I shouldn't have expected anything less.
Yeah, pretty much.
But your next question, you gotta stop knocking your mic arm around, bro. You gotta chill on that. The second question, Kang. What was your favorite scene in the film?
I would probably have to say my favorite scene in the whole film, probably his first kill and like the way it made him feel like afterwards, like, or basically if I were to say it, if it were like a 2-way tie, it would probably be when Charles is talking to the son and he's basically like, well, here's the thing, like someone's got to stop the crime, and like if no one's going to stop it, we got to be the ones to do it. Fucking love that.
Okay, I have a question, and folks, let me just. I want to make this clear to the audience. I remember everything else that is important about this movie. I remember most of this movie pretty well, but I was very high when I watched it, and there's one little puzzle piece in my brain that I'm having trouble connecting. What happens at the end of this movie again? How does the movie end?
He winds up going to Chicago.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I remember now. Okay, it's all coming back. It's all coming back to me. Pretty good. But there you go. Now I remember that problem has been solved. But my favorite scene. Maybe it's the confrontation in the hospital. Between Paul and Frank. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked the I thought it was fun. I thought it was good. It was cathartic.
I think it was really interesting how Frank basically gave him an ultimatum. And I love how he just like followed it up with basically like, does it have to be right now?
Yeah, he's like, today? Like, come on, man.
Like,
Kind
come on.
of in a spot here.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
kind of
like
got another thing going on.
it's like I did get shot and I did lose quite a bit of blood. I mean,
Also, it seemed weird to me that the doctor was like, he's not going to talk to you much, even though he was fully awake and fully capable of speech.
I mean, he only like how
'Cause
many pints
he doesn't
of blood
talk.
did he lose?
He doesn't talk much, but he talks. It doesn't seem like it's straining for him to speak, and he was very awake the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I like the. I like the. This is not really the scene itself is not a favorite, but something I didn't discuss earlier. I guess I kind of like the solving of the crimes. I'm always like fascinated by being like, because I'm stupid, so I don't think about this kind of obvious shit. And then the cop will be like, okay, so here's what's going on. Here's the motive we assume in this case is revenge. And because we assume the motive is revenge, we're gonna start looking at all the people who's had family members killed by muggers, and I'm like, whoa, they're narrowing it down.
Like, wow, they're
And then
doing shit
they narrow it
before
down for like,
computers.
oh, he shoots really well. Maybe he's a war veteran. And it's like, whoa, holy shit. And it's like, it seems.
I
Wait a
mean, it
minute.
seems.
Well, one thing. Oh, wait. How the fuck did they know about the grocery store?
Well, you also got to think.
Was the receipt found? I guess maybe the receipt was found at the scene of a murder. Then how do they know it's not the victims? How do they know that receipt was his?
Well, I mean, you also got to think they're probably going to say like, "Huh, Kersey." Well, there is a Kersey we know, possibly first name Paul.
Well, they don't have Kersey. They don't know that much. But they had like a receipt, a grocery receipt that they were 100%. There must have been a scene I missed or something because they had this grocery receipt and they were 100%. It was fact. It was 100% a fact, confirmed, correct, as the cops see it. That this grocery receipt belongs to the vigilante. I don't know why. I don't understand.
Well, I mean, also
That's what narrowed it down all the way. Like they even acknowledged like they had the okay. It's got to be a war veteran and somebody who's had their family killed by a mugger, and it's like so many people have gotten their family killed by muggers that doesn't narrow it down much at all.
Who also shops at that very store?
Who also shops at that very store? But then the store comes in, and that's how they get him. But how do they? Where do they get the receipt, and how do they know it's his?
Who
Not
knows,
that
man?
Not that they know it's Paul Kersey's necessarily yet. They know it's the vigilantes.
Who knows, man?
Okay, you didn't get that either. Got it. Somebody tell us how stupid we are in the comments. If you're a real Death Wish head and you know how to get the seed.
If you're a Bronson man, kind of like me, post that shit in the comments. Let us know how fucking retarded we are.
If you're Bronson pilled, please enlighten us on what we've done wrong
Based in Bronson pilled. There you go.
Based in Bronson pilled. God damn. I hate you, Gingy. I hate you so much. I fucking hate Gingy. God damn it.
Don't worry, I fucking hate me too.
Don't we all hate each other sometimes? We all hate ourselves.
You could say that we all have issues, both with our lives and with each other. You could say that.
Oh, you shameless plugging motherfucker. You
shameless,
had no.
We're on that same channel. I'm not plugging shit.
Yes, you are.
The only way they can be listening to this is if they're already in the place where they listen to that. It's on the same podcast feed and the same YouTube channel.
Yeah, well, fucking Charlie does, like, the official channel that has the official podcast, and he also has, like, different fucking shows he does on it. So maybe not as... Yeah!
I didn't know about that.
He has a show he does with Wendigoon.
Oh, good.
Then maybe you can actually get fucking based in Wendigoon pilled.
I do need to get Wendigoon pilled. But finally, the biggest question of the three. What would you rate this film out of 10? You're allowed to do 0.5s, but no other decimals.
I would probably say probably a 9.5, like at the time, like it was made. But I'd give it a respectable 8.5.
Yeah, this movie thoroughly entertained me. It was really good. It wasn't like insanely amazing. Like I don't have all these insights about the characters and shit. That's why this conversation was fairly short and mostly about other garbage. But I was thoroughly entertained. I was thoroughly engaged in Paul Kersey's character arc and how he was his development into what he becomes by the end of the film. That being a guy who killed a bunch of people and got away with it.
A vigilante
That's pretty
badass
cool.
Sigma male, you know?
Vigilante badass. I wonder if is this just going to straight up become Batman? Is Paul Kersey going to start wearing a mask?
Probably not.
It seems kind of silly not to.
Yeah, but he's Paul fucking Kersey, though.
Yeah, that's true. The thing is, like, the more you tell me the more that I process the fact that there's 5 movies, I'm like, okay. If he goes through 5 whole movies of this, there's some shit that he has to figure out. Because, like, if you give me 2 or 3 movies with Vigilante, like, okay, maybe they're stupid. But 5 movies, eventually you figure out how to put a mask on, I think.
Who knows?
After 5 movies of being the Death Wish Vigilante, it's like, if people, like, see my face, that's kind of problematic.
Maybe he probably goes state to state, city to city, and people have no idea who he is, and it's kind of like, oh, wait, hold on, you're that fucking...
You're the guy! That one!
Now please, kill these shitbags over here.
I really like... Oh, I forgot about that one scene. Okay. Maybe this is my... Nope! This is my favorite scene. This is actually my favorite scene. And this is good! Because I like to try to separate my favorite scene from my favorite character whenever possible. And this is a scene that has nothing to do with Paul Kersey. And it has something to do with Paul Kersey. But Paul Kersey's not in the scene. And it is probably it's the thing I remember most about the film because I really liked it. It's kind of generic too. Like this happens in like any film this happens with any like vigilante story where the cop has the guy from the incident where the 3 bad guys are attacking the other guy and Paul Kersey jumps in and kills him. The Frank is talking to the guy who was attacked by the guys who Paul killed. And he's talking to Frank and the other police, and he's saying that he didn't see what the guy looked like. But then when the other cops walk away and it's just Frank and the guy, Frank's like, "You got a good look at him, didn't you?" And the guy's like, "No," and he's like, "You're full of shit."
It's like
I really liked the call out. Where it's like, you fucking, I know you saw him.
It's like, I know you saw him, you cheeky cockwagon.
I liked how he wasn't even that mad about it. He's like, yeah, full of shit.
You're full of shit, but at least the crime rate is down a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my addendum. That's my favorite scene. As for rating out of 10, very good film. So I always feel weird about giving these ratings. I'm way too nice, is my thing. It takes a real fucking bad one to get any lower than like a 6.5 out of me. What did I give American Psycho 2?
I don't know. What did you give it?
Let me look. There is a website, or at least there was a website. I don't know if it still exists. Back when my friend Kathy was doing this show consistently. Now she seems to have disappeared off the face of the planet. But previously, she was maintaining a website with our scores and shit. Let me see if I can locate it here. Okay, folks, as it turns out, if you look up Issue Crew movie reviews, it does not give you me on YouTube. So that's a fun fact that I learned today. Issue Crew, movie reviews. It should be in this one. Movie tracking website. Okay, is it still up? It is. Cool. I gave American Psycho 2 a 6.5. I was right.
Plus, you also got to think in American Psycho 2, everyone was probably expecting like fucking Christian Bale to come back as Patrick Bateman.
Is that the lowest rated? Let me just go, just for fun. Let's go through this website because you've never heard of these podcasts where I give these scores. And I want to know if I gave anything a lower score. So there was Breaking Bad season 1. I gave it a 9. Season 2, I gave it 10. Deadpool, I gave a 9. Season 3 of Breaking Bad, I gave a 9. American Psycho 1, 8.5. American Psycho 2, 6.5. Pinocchio, I gave a 7. Pinocchio, the live action one, I feel like it couldn't have been that good. I must have been being too nice. I remember nothing about that film. Season 4 of Breaking Bad, I gave an 8.5. Season 5, 10. I gave Das Boot a 7. I gave this I gave this Pokemon movie a 5.5. I don't even remember not liking it. Why was I so mean to it? Well, Pokemon The Arceus Chronicles, I guess I rated lower than American Psycho 2. Xavier Renegade Angel Season 1, 8. Spectre of Spider-Man Season 1, 9. Spider-Verse 10. El Camino 7.5. Okay, so yeah. The lowest rating I ever gave was a 5.5. Of this list, there's a lot of movie reviews missing. I've probably given lower before, but I'm way too nice.
Who knows?
But I feel like this movie generally deserves high merits. Usually when there's a really good when there's a movie that's good, there's why do I not know how to explain this with regular English words? There's like 3 calibers of really good movie to me. Usually when a movie's like good, when I have no like when a movie I like it more than I don't like it, and I like it enough, it's probably either going to be an 8, a 9, or a 10. But like the calibers that make it reach 9 and 10 are like real deep connection with the film that I didn't quite get here. I was engaged, I was entertained, but it wasn't anything that like everything about the movie and all the characters and shit had me super engaged. It was just like, this is a cool story and I really enjoyed it and it was done really well. But I don't think it has anything that really sets it crazy apart. So at that point, on the 8, 9, 10 scale of good movies, I'll go ahead and just give it an 8.
That's respectable.
But folks, there you go. We did it. It's another Issue Crew movie reviews in the books if I remember to edit this one before it expires.
Yeah, let's just quickly get that going, so in case it doesn't expire,
Yeah, and I also got to figure out if any of the audio's lost because both the bots fucked up at some point. So that's fun.
You have the OBS backup, don't you?
No, yeah, I have the audio, but at the end of the day, I have all the audio. It's just how much, what quality will it be in, is the question of the day.
Uh-huh.
But so yeah, I don't know if this show is gonna be back weekly. Probably not, but I'm gonna try to do it more often.
Maybe not.
There's plans in the works for at least one other review coming soon. Hopefully in time for next week. I have to hope Penguin Mage can watch 2 episodes of a television show within the next how many days? 5. Within the next oh god. Welcome to I Failed at Math, everybody.
Dun, dun, dun.
5 and then the next week, I think 7 is the number that I reached. I think that's right. From today to the Tuesday after the next Tuesday. That's not 7 at all. Wow, Riely. Wow. I give up. Anyway, so yeah, at some point, I will be here with Penguin Maids to review a half season because Penguin Mage was not confident she would remember an entire season enough if we did them in just seasons. We will be reviewing the first half of season 1 of a great show that is not exclusively for women, and I'm not gay for watching. High School Musical, the series. You can join us for that.
You're a fucking liar.
You can join us for that soon, hopefully. I gotta review some more films. You can maybe get Mo Diggity back in here. I've been trepidate. We've talked about several movie reviews, so we got to start getting them moving. I've just felt weird about asking him ever since that time that he rage quit one because me and Kathy were being not good enough at the podcast. we watched Isle of Dogs and we tried to review it. And me and Kathy were just we weren't coming up with things to talk about quick enough. And we were being kind of low energy, and Mo was getting frustrated. And then at some point, Kathy asked me a question. Where I don't remember the exact context because it's been too long. She asked me what my favorite thing was about the movie besides, and then said what my favorite thing about the movie was. And I was like, shit, that would have been my answer if you hadn't done that qualificator. So I don't know, fuck. And I'm trying to think about it. And Mo Diggity was so appalled by the fact that I didn't have an answer that he quit. He was like, you know what? I'm done. Call me when you guys are serious. And he fucking hung up. So that was the fate of our Isle of Dogs review.
That's funny.
Good movie, by the way, for the record. Liked that movie. So I guess me and Kang will be back with Death Note. I almost said Death Note. Death Wish.
You
2
motherfucker.
At some point.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting.
We have to now. We have to watch the whole Death Wish syncology.
Of course.
We gotta. Kang, how do you feel about Ted?
I fucking love Ted, dude.
You gotta. I gotta really put. I gotta put a fire under Mo's ass about this because I think he agreed to do. He definitely doesn't remember he agreed to do it because it was weeks ago, but he definitely agreed to do it.
Have you started watching the Ted series yet?
I've seen the whole thing.
Dude, it's fucking great.
That's what I was about to say. I want to do for this show, for Issue Crew movie reviews. I want to do the Super Ted-tacular, where we talk about both movies and the TV show.
Hell yeah!
So I gotta let a fire under Mo Diggity's ass for that. Maybe we'll get you in on it, Kang. Or the super Ted-tacular extravaganza. I was really, honestly, I watched that show because the show came out and it trended on Twitter and everybody was like, holy shit, this is actually really funny. And I watched the show and I agreed. But that led me to go back to the movies. And the movies, much better than I remember, too. Also.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, with the fucking amount of Italian jokes they made in the first minute of the goddamn show, it was fucking amazing.
I don't quite recall this first minute in the Italian jokes. What were they saying?
I can't remember, but
damn it,
they were pretty funny. Anyway,
we're donating to Jew causes.
Anyway,
I'll never. I think one of the most famous bits for the Ted TV show. This clip is all over Twitter, and I think it also just. It perfectly sums up my sense of humor. Where just like I find it so funny when something like doesn't make any sense and you refuse to explain it. The they got him joke. Yeah, there was an Indian kid, but they got him. What do you mean they got him?
Hell.
What did they mean? How did they get him? What did they do to him?
I don't know, but they got him.
What did they do to the poor Indian kid who shared his Dunkaroos?
I don't know, but they got him.
They got him. They sure did get him.
Anyway.
Don't anyway me. I'll talk about Ted for fucking 3 hours if I want to, and you're trapped. You can never escape.
Yeah, well, all I just gotta do is press fucking the disconnect button. Fucking can't.
I've actually. Do you want to play a game? I've attached a device to your testicular region that will.
You son of a bitch.
It'll smash your nutsack if you disconnect the Discord call.
All of a sudden, it's just like, yeah, right. I'm sure it won't. But God,
you're like the definitely hundreds of people who immediately died in Sword Art Online because the guy explained that you can't log out or that you can't take the helmet off or it'll kill you, and you're like, oh yeah,
oh yeah, watch me, motherfucker. Proceeds to eat shit.
You die in the game, you die for real. Sure, I believe that. I'm gonna let this boar hit me until I die.
Now watch this. I guarantee you it isn't gonna do a goddamn thing to me. See? It's doing nothing, you stupid motherfucker!
And then your brain is scrambled eggs. And that's how it happens.
Yep. That's me. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Sword Art Online is good, and I don't care what anybody else says. I love Sword Art Online. And I understand why it's terrible, but I love it anyway.
It's like
my boy.
It's like delightful masochism watching an anime you hate.
It's not, but I don't hate it. Like, I understand what you're saying, and I definitely have that with other shows. But with Sword Art Online, it's literally just like, I understand the reasoning why other people hate it. I just don't care. I just like it a lot. Like, people will say, give me all the legitimate criticism of Sword Art Online. I'll be like, yeah, you're right.
And?
It's just a matter of priorities.
Dude, that's like me whenever it comes to watching Transformers. It's just like, oh my god, you actually watch shows like Transformers Cybertron? That show wasn't really that good. Yeah. And?
Oh shit, I guess good point. I guess you got us.
Yeah, and? Robot Cargo Burr, your fucking problem?
It's fair. Kang?
Yeah.
Tell our listeners where they can find you.
You lovely motherfuckers can find me over at Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Under my linktr.ee/Grimrel.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Did I accidentally link your Twitter again?
I don't know.
I remember linking your Linktree one time recently, but I feel like then you were on something again and I forgot, and I put your Twitter in there.
I'm not gonna lie, thanks to you, I am glad I started a fucking Linktree.
Yeah, you gotta make sure everybody can go to all your places.
Right?
Like your what's in there? What's in your Linktree? I looked at it recently, but I forget what's in there now.
I think shit, I even forgot. Maybe a Twitter, Twitch, I think, maybe Kick even.
Good old kick.com.
Riely.
Hey, follow kick.com/mostlightgaming.
Riely, where can they find you?
You can find me at linktr.ee/Riely Cinematic Universe. There's all sorts of cool shit there. Podcasts, YouTube channels, all sorts of content for your ear holes and your eye holes. And that's it. There's no smelling or tasting to be had, so none of your other holes will be satisfied. But your eye holes and your ear holes perfectly content with the content that they'll be receiving. What am I doing? I'm not even high.
But yo, booty
I'm
hoe.
completely sober.
But your booty
and this
hole with a
is
little bit of play from yourself. That
yeah,
is going to be satisfied.
there you go. That's right, folks. And with that, I bid you farewell on the end of this episode of Issue Crew Movie Reviews. See you next time for
Farewell, Auf
maybe High School
Wiedersehen.
Musical, maybe Death Wish 2. Who knows? Could be anything.
Farewell, Auf Wiedersehen, das Vidanya. Ciao.
Fuck out of my house.
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.